a dictator's son, a former actor, a champion boxer. Inside the manic race to replace Duterte as the Philippines leader, a diverse field of candidates have put up their hands to succeed Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte, who is stepping down after a single 6-year term in line with the Philippines constitution. Although the 2022 presidential election campaign is yet to begin, the machinations and drama are well underway. Friday was the final day for candidates to announce their intention to run. Among those who officially filed are Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., the son of a former Philippines dictator, Manny Pacquiao, a senator and former boxing champion, vice president and Duterte critic Leni Robredo, and Isko Moreno, the mayor of Manila and a former actor. Richard Haydarian, professor of history and political science at the Philippines Polytechnic University, says there is no clear frontrunner. It is going to be highly competitive, he added. In a tight race, the prize could go to anyone. And the stakes are high, with China and the US increasingly treating the Indo-Pacific as a staging ground for their global showdown. The Philippines will likely come under growing economic and geopolitical pressure, particularly as a claimant to part of the South China Sea.
During his time in office, Duterte aligned the Philippines closer to Beijing, publicly stating his love for President Xi Jinping as the leaders explored the possibility of joint resource contracts in the South China Sea. At home, he has cracked down on civil society and sparked a bloody war on drugs that has claimed the lives of more than 6,000 people, according to police. And there are signs he may not be willing to let his influence go so easily. After accepting his party's candidacy for vice president, Duterte announced last week he would be retiring from politics. Critics have pointed out Duterte also announced his retirement in 2015 before he changed his mind and ran for president. Duterte has a personal incentive to retain some control over the future government. He's facing an investigation by the International Criminal Court into his war on drugs, and his successor could influence how much access they get to the Philippines. Journalist Maria Ressa, the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize winner and president and chief executive of local media outlet Rappler, said the 2022 elections were existential for democracy. "We're at the edge of a cliff. Whoever wins will determine whether we'll have rule of law, whether our economy can grow, whether we can survive the virus, whether our society can heal," she said. The dictator's son, in a post to his official Facebook page on Tuesday, the son of the man accused of imprisoning, torturing, and impoverishing the Filipino people, asked his supporters to join him in the noblest of causes. Marcos Jr., known colloquially as Bongbong, announced he would run for president in the 2022 election, pitching himself as a unifying candidate who could bring the country together after the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic. Marcos ruled the country with an iron fist for 2.5 decades before he was deposed by a popular protest in 1986. The Marcos family profited greatly from its time in power, with some experts estimating a net gain of more than $10 billion during the patriarch's dictatorship. Marcos Jr. has claimed many of the allegations against his family are slanderous. But human rights groups in the Philippines are horrified at the prospect of a member of the Marcos family running for the country's highest position. Protesters rallied outside the Commission on Human Rights building in Manila on Wednesday to show their disgust. The Marcoses remain scot-free from jail. They haven't returned all the money that they got from the nation's coffers, and now they are making a comeback for the highest position in the land. That is just plain shameless gall, Cristina Palabay of rights group Karapitan told Reuters. Duterte has not been ashamed to tie himself to the Marcos family. There were even suggestions he might join Marcos Jr.'s ticket as candidate for vice president. That's the plan, Marcos Jr. said Wednesday, according to ABS-CBN. Ressa said Duterte's popularity in the south of the Philippines, combined with Marcos's popularity in the north, would create a formidable force. Haydarian added the Marcos family had grassroots support, resources, and message discipline, but their history would not play well with a population concerned about corruption. The issue of corruption is very Very sensitive for a lot of people, he said. The boxer Pacquiao's skill as a boxer is unquestionable. After a 26-year career, he is considered one of the greatest boxers of all time, the only man to hold world titles in 8 different divisions. But Haydarian said since he joined the Senate, Pacquiao's time in office has been underwhelming. He's entering this race as someone whose mantle of statesmanship is still under question. He didn't have the most impressive performance as senator, he added. Pacquiao also has critics on the other side of the political divide, Ressa said. The boxer has frequently made controversial statements about LGBTQ rights and abortion. In 2016, while running for the Senate, Pacquiao said gay people were worse than animals. Ressa said the Philippines will need urgent action to recover from the Duterte years and the COVID-19 pandemic, and questioned whether Pacquiao had the political coalition or the governing experience to make it happen. Whoever will become president next will have real problems to deal with, and they're going to have competent people to deal with it, she said. The actor Manila Mayor Moreno, who filed his candidacy for president this week, has had a meteoric political rise over the past 3 years. A native of Manila, he said he grew up in the city's slums, where he made a living by collecting trash to be resold. He rose to prominence as an actor in the 1990s, appearing in Bomba films, a type of softcore erotic movie made in the Philippines. Moreno often played the romantic lead. Using his reputation as a stepping stone, Moreno moved into politics in 1998 as a city councilor in Manila before being elected vice mayor in 2007 and then mayor in 2019. Just 2 years after his win, he is aiming to lead the entire country. Like Duterte, Moreno is a populist, Haydarian said, but one of a different stripe. Represents what I call polite populism, cost-free, family-orientated, even pious kind of rhetoric, he said, adding that Moreno trumpets centrist and even at times progressive policies. The vice president at the other end of the spectrum from Marcos is incumbent Vice President Rodrigo.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.